Hi, and welcome to the October 2015 edition of Rowlett on the Water on the Move. I'm Todd Gottell.
I'm Brian Funderburk.
This show is produced entirely by city staff and can be seen on Rowlett's own television network, RTN 16. And by the way, Brian, you can see us all day long, every day. Next slide.
Oh, yes, every day, all day long.
And of course, if you don't get RTN 16, you can also find us on our YouTube page at Rowlett, Texas Video, and we're in full HD now, which is actually pretty cool as well. And if that's not good enough, you can also go to our streaming video page at your favorite website.
Rowlett.com.
That's right. You can find us there. You can watch old council meetings. You can watch our shows and a lot of other things that we have, a lot of other programming as well. So, well, we've got a I don't want to say fun-filled and then program today. We've got a lot of information to share as usual. It never ceases to amaze me how much information we have to share within a relatively short program period. Yep. But there's a lot that goes on during the month. So Brian, let's start talking about something I think that's pretty serious in this community right now, at least from a perception basis. And I even have the same thing, as you're aware. And this is our high utility bills, the water consumption. It's not so much in the bill amount as it is the actual usage amount that you see, and that spike in usage that's there. So I know we've lifted, of course, water restrictions, and we've now have a little bit of a drought. We've had significant rains. We haven't had we have not had to run any sprinklers, but you know, it's now we turn them on and surprise, we've got high water usage.
That's right. And Mayor, you know, one of the things is, like a lot of other North Texas communities, we have received a high number of inquiries, not just yours, regarding their water bill. And there are two distinct questions or statements we have been consistently hearing all summer. One is that my bill has never been that high, and the second one is my usage has never been this high. And the truth of the matter is, you know, particularly with regard to the second point, the usage, you know, we did conduct a study utilizing information from 39 customers. One of the things that we found in that study is the answers, at least in part, to the question. And first is, you know, my bill has never been that high, right? That's one of the things that people have asked first off. And the first answer is, for many customers, that's a true statement.
Well, and it's something that I personally can, as a person on council, I can have that conversation, try to explain about the charges from North Texas Municipal Water District, and then the issue that we had the surcharge, and then the pipeline that was built. I can explain some of that, and maybe you can explain. But then the next question is my usage has, and I have my personal story I can share, but it's something I was kind of about shocked with. So tell me a little bit about when you talk about my bill has never been this high, because I can explain it, but I think you do a better job.
Well, Mayor, in the first place, you know, we have to think about over the past 7 years, we've increased the bill by an average of 5.5% per year. Now that's based on 10,000 gallons of usage. And primarily it's been used to pass on increases from the North Texas Municipal Water District, where we get our water, and the City of Garland for sewer treatment. And in addition, in 2013, the City of Rowlett added a monthly charge of $8.65 to implement a $3.2 million capital maintenance program. So first and foremost, when people say I've never spent that much, that's true. And it goes back to the fact that, you know, we cannot absorb those costs from those 10, 11% cost increases from the North Texas Municipal Water District. And as a result, we've had to pass those on to our customers. So think about it from this perspective. If after 3 to 4 years of drought, where you haven't been able to water, and now you can water, now you're going to use more. But the second piece of that about the usage, you've experienced that, I've experienced that. The truth of the matter is, when people say my usage has never been this high, we have found that at least for 70% of our customers, that's not true. They have used that much or more. The problem is that people haven't used that much water in 3 or 4 years. And because of that, they look at their bill, as you point out on your bill there, you know, you have 12 months of history, so you look back last year and say, well, I didn't use that much last year. Well, why didn't you use that much? Well, first off, we were in stage 3 water restrictions, right? So you could only water once every 2 weeks. Now you can water twice a week. And so in 2 weeks, that's 4 times. That's right. So it's 3 times as much. So people look at this and say, well, you know, I look at my bill and I didn't use this much last year. Well, the truth of the matter is, for most of our customers, they have used that much in the past. You know, people are taking advantage of it. In my household, we're also using soaker hoses, particularly around the foundation. people are doing that as well.
Which has hurt a lot, and that's the other thing I've heard from some friends that have foundation companies, that they've never had more work than this past year, simply because we've had so much rain, the ground expands and contracts, of course, and it dries up, now starts contracting, causing havoc with the foundations. And so what's the goal? Well, what's the next thing you do? You turn the soaker hose on. Well, it's not on a timer. So what happens is people forget it's on, and all of a sudden you're putting out hundreds and hundreds of gallons an hour, literally, and you forget, oh, I'm only going to leave it on for an hour. Well, next thing, you know, you basically watch a show or run to the store real quick and forget that it's on and go, my goodness, it's been running for 5 or 6 hours now.
And the other thing, Mayor, as in with other neighboring cities in North Texas, much of the dramatic increase in water uses can be attributed to the extremely dry weather. As you mentioned yourself, it rained all spring, but then we've had a pretty dry summer.
Exactly.
We went at some point, I think, 45 days without any rain at all at the airport. So along with the easing of water restrictions and the hot weather, you know, and now people can water twice a week. This wasn't allowed last time. Then you add to that the water rates have increased significantly since 2010 due to increases in the rate charged by the North Texas Municipal Water District, who we pass those bills on, those costs to our customers. Those two factors combined have led to some pretty high utility bills.
Well, and let me tell you this, in all fairness, because the first thing I did when I saw this bill was looking at the spike in usage that's here and go, there's no way I use this amount of water. There's absolutely no way, because I'm going through this really flat about, in my case personally, and I'll share a personal story, but I was using about 7,900 gallons a month. And all of a sudden, then it jumped to like 28,000 or 30,000 gallons. I'm like, there's absolutely no way. Well, it's a huge jump compared to what I was using, about 4 times in some cases. You know, it was almost 30,000 actually, and couldn't believe it. And so first thing I did is I went out and said, well, maybe we have a leak. Well, I called the sprinkler company to come out and check a couple of sprinkler heads, and lo and behold, we had actually 2 cracks in sprinkler lines. And I said, what do you attribute to? Because I haven't run the sprinkler system. And he goes, well, that's exactly why. He said the ground's expanded and contract, and at the joints, he said, it doesn't have the capability, it doesn't have the flexibility, and you know, to really give that much. And because of the expansion and contraction, you have 2 water leaks that were there, and literally water was pouring out. Didn't even know it because it was in the back of the yard. And of course, I don't run the sprinkler enough, but the ground has been so dry, it just sucks it right back up. It's not, and the way he equated it to me was take a cup of water, pour it on the cement, and stand there for 15 minutes and watch what happens on a summer day. He said you will not be able to see any type of indication that you did that 15 minutes later, because it just evaporates. Well, in the ground, it's the same thing. You could pour that into a crack within seconds and not even know that you did anything. And he said that cup will disappear. Yeah. And so, had to have that fixed. It cost me roughly, you know, I had 2 different trips in order for them to come back to do this. It was almost $400, not for the water bill, but for the repairs to the sprinkler system, because I hadn't used it, plus now the additional water that I used as well. So it's pretty significant.
And Mayor, you had a leak, and you know, I would consider myself really close to an average customer. You know, I didn't have a leak myself, but during the winter we use about 5,500 gallons. In July, which is the, I should say in August, which is our July usage, because we're on that calendar month, our cycle, we use 32,000 gallons. And last year at that same time, we used 13,000. Well, I watered every opportunity. And the last half of the month, we started using soaker hoses. And I will tell you, we didn't have a timer at first. And so as a result, there was times we forgot about the water being on. And so I know that happened to me. Well, I know my next bill, which I should get in the next few days, is going to be even worse. And why is that? Because we've used the soaker hoses all month, for the whole month. So I know my usage is even going to go higher than it was in this past month. Right. You know, we're probably going to exceed 40,000 gallons. And I don't have a leak. I don't have a leak. We don't have a swim pool. But we use the water. We use the sprinkler system, and we've been using the soaker hoses.
Well, and I think the difficult part about it is it's not easily quantifiable. You know, what I mean by that is that it's not like I drop this box on your porch and all of a sudden every time you use a certain amount, I stack another box, another box, and you can, because it's not tangible enough where you can just look at it and go, here's what I bought. It literally disappears. And so you may wind up with some greener grass, or you may wind up with shrubs that just aren't dying, but it's not something that you can instantly see in a lot of cases. And Brian, frankly, we've also heard from folks that don't have a sprinkler system. and they're saying, you know, there's absolutely no way I use this. And then upon the investigation that you went back and you spend a significant amount of time looking at doing a case study with I want to say what, about 30 or 40 people.
Almost 40 people.
Yeah, almost 40 people. You found that the history, if you turn it back 5 to 7 years in that period, in many cases they have used that or exceeded the level that they had used in the past.
That's correct, Mayor. And you know, and this was an isolated case for a very specific period of time. But for those that we were able to go back and look at that history, they certainly have used that much water. There were a few that didn't. And what we usually experience, you know, we had one customer that you know, uses 2,000 to 3,000 gallons a month. All right. Well, you know, his bill jumped 80,000 gallons. Well, you know what? We went out there. He had a leak. Okay, so we know those things happen. But the deal is really, everybody is somewhat different. And so in your case, it was a leak. In my case, we're using soaker hoses. You know, everybody has their own story about why that may be true, but the truth of the matter is it comes down to the convergence of those two issues, which is that 45 days with no rain, okay, and people are using their sprinkler system because now there's no water restrictions, and the rates have gone up every year for the last 7 years, and so as a result, you combine that with more water, you're going to pay more. Right. And that really is what's happening here.
Well, it's very disappointing to hear when, you know, when people go through that process, you know, that it's disappointing to hear when you know, talk to them about a large bill, and then you try to have the discussion, and it's very difficult to have that discussion because in a lot of cases you don't want to hear what's actually happened, and the cost piece, I can explain, because to me it's quantifiable. You can talk about here are the increases that we've had by North Texas Municipal Water District over the year. They've continued to tell us we're going to have 10% cost increases every year. Garland has had, you know, and they've gotten better about some of the cost increases, but they're doing some significant improvements to their system as well. Yeah. We have to maintain our system, so you really don't have a choice from a maintenance perspective. But I've been told this many, many years ago that the utility, specifically water, is going to be our most expensive utility bill out there by far, and it's just a matter of time. And if you think about it for a minute, the population is going to double by 2030 if statistically they're right, and then you think about where are those people going to live, where are they going to, you know, how do they get from point A to point B, the transportation access, but more importantly, how do we supply the water and electricity? That's pretty significant, and so we're really concerned about that. So they're talking about building new reservoirs and things, but who's paying for that? Ultimately, we are paying for that through our taxes and fees in one way or another for all those folks that are not here today. And
that's correct, Mayor. I mean, you know, there's three things driving the North Texas Municipal Water District right now. One of which was to solve the issue about the zebra mussels. Right. So that was a $400+ million project they had to do that we're all having to pay for. On top of that, the district is also planning on a new reservoir, and it's going to be $950 million. That's right. So they're telling us now that to expect a 10% increase in their rates for the next, you know, for the foreseeable future. So we'll continue to have to pass these on to our customers because the city could not absorb those costs. No city will be able to do that. Right. Well, and one thing that, you know, we are very sensitive to this, especially at the council level. As I said before, first and foremost, we absolutely hear you. My fellow council members and I, as well as many staff members, we live in Rowlett and we pay the exact same utility rates as you do. We are not discounted. We don't get free water. You know, I mean, we don't get compensated for how much water we sell. The bottom line is we're paying the same rates as you do. So when I got my bill and I saw the usage, the first thing I thought is, what happened? Well, that's not quite what I said, but we're on TV, so I have to be nice. But really, I mean, it's very frustrating when you get that amount of bill because that's more than my electric bill in most cases. So, well, Mayor, I would like to clarify one more thing we've been hearing about. The district itself does not play any role in the city's meter reading. We have a contract with our customer cities that requires us to pay a certain amount of water, whether we sell it or not. But the district only meters the amount of water they provide to our city's water system as a whole. They have nothing to do with our billing system, our individual meters. We all own those. We're the ones that read those, and we're the ones that actually do the billing and collection for that. So the district has nothing to do with that. And I do understand, I mean, when a lot of people are looking at their bills and they're trying to figure out what happened, there's many different things that you think about, and you know, you just go through each one and say, well, it wasn't that, it wasn't that, it wasn't that. And it's not always a leak either. You know, sometimes there's other things that happen, but You know, we can't control what happens to each individual customer. All we can do is look at it and verify the accuracy of the meter, which we've been able to do.
Well, and candidly speaking, you know, we really have no way to help monitor usage other than the meter. It's the only way that we have to register the amount of water that goes into that property, which is a standard type of meter. You know, that there may be different manufacturers, but generally it's a standard meter that helps measure that water. And what was interesting is that, well, I think the meter's broken. I would hear that a lot. And what we find is that in a lot of cases, the impeller, which spins as the water runs through it, you know, that over time will go bad. It wears out. Well, it actually fails to the customer's advantage. One thing I've learned, it's not to the advantage of the city. The other thing, the other key point on this is that our utility system is not a profit center for the city. This is not like we take that profit and we all go out and spend it. At the end of the day, we pay our operations and maintenance out of that system, you know, which is a very important part. We also pay North Texas Municipal Water District for the water we use. And that's where the money goes. It funds our debt and funds maintenance and funds operations, our daily operations. We have a handful of employees that work very, very hard. And it's not their fault that the bill goes up. These folks work extremely hard to go out, and honestly, we provide a higher level of customer service than most cities do. Most people would say, call a plumber. I've never been in a city where they'll actually send an employee out to help manage the situation and look at they'll walk the property with the specific customer, look for leaks, and then we'll do some tests on the system. We'll pull meters to check the flow to make sure it's working properly. And I mean, we do quite a bit, but it's still very disheartening. I know as an individual homeowner when you get a bill and it's that amount of money, but there's a lot more that goes into it than that. And it always seems to be this time of the year when things get dry, we start turning the water on more, and then as soon as the cycle, you know, this period ends, we turn the water back off again, and then the bills stabilize.
Well, and that's correct. But Mayor, we'd like to leave some important steps that our customers can do when reviewing their bill. You know, first, review your sprinkler control settings and make sure your system is set for the appropriate frequency and duration. One thing we often hear from you know, licensed irrigation specialists and landscape folks is that people tend to overwater. They really do.
They do.
If you want your roots to be healthy, and the way you do that is you put the appropriate amount of water and let the roots chase the water. That's the deal. You want strong roots in your system. Check your swimming pool control systems. A lot of people, when you have a lot of evaporation, use a lot more water for their swimming pool than they think they do.
Well, and they have aerators. They run the fountains and stuff like that, and all it's doing is you're spraying that water, which ultimately makes it evaporate even more.
And then you have to use more. And then the other thing, check all the indoor and outdoor water systems for leaks. People have had more leaks this summer, and I'll tell you exactly why. You know, on one hand, you had 4 years of drought where everything had shrunk up. Then you had an enormous amount of rain, everything went back, and then you had 45 days of no rain and it shrunk up again. So in that short period of time, it created leaks. We've been fixing our irrigation heads and sprinkler, I mean our systems all over the city. We know if we're doing that, so are our residents and our customers.
Well, and there's a couple other tips that we also have as well, but we're gonna, you know, we've created a short video. We'd like to have you watch it, and it's really going to focus on a couple of things. It's going to teach you how to read your water meter to estimate your water consumption. And I don't, you know, it's something that you really have to pay attention to because you don't want to damage that meter that's there, but make sure that you're able to read the water meter so you understand your consumption. We're going to provide some tips on reducing consumption and adjusting your irrigation settings. That's a mistake I had. I had it running several different times a week, more than the allowed amount, and I didn't even know it because it was running in the middle of the night. Hi, I'm Todd Gottell.
And I'm Brian Funderburg.
Today we're here to talk about one of our most important resources, and that's water.
That's right, Mayor. And today what we want to do is help people understand just how much water you're really using. And the Mayor is going to be a great example for all of us.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. So today we're actually here at my home, and I wanted to be able to demonstrate, to actually show you what a utility meter looks like, how it functions, and how we check for if we're leaking or not, and how much water exactly that we're using.
Jake Gillian's with us today. Jake is our utility operations manager. Jake is going to actually pull the lid off for us, and we're going to be able to explain exactly what's in this lid into this meter box.
All right, so what we're actually doing is we're taking the cover off the meter. And can you tell me a little bit about this? What is this disc for?
This disc is the transmitter antenna.
Okay.
The transmitter is actually called an MXU. It's underneath here. And this is what sends the reading to the truck as they drive by to read the meter.
Okay, so one thing that's important, now I know you've talked about this before, that you really shouldn't attempt to try to pull these off by yourself,
be because there are wires that could get disconnected?
There are wires that are disconnected, and these are crucial for the truck to be able to read the meter correctly.
I see the meter down here.
See the meter here. There's a leak detector. You'll be able to see if you've got any water running at all, it'll be turning. It's a red dial, and there's a line on it. And if it's turning at all, that means there's water running through the meter. If you know for a fact that you have no water running in your house, any amount of rotation that it does will indicate a leak.
What we're going to do is actually do a test of the sprinkler system, because one of the questions that we've been asked many times is how much water does my sprinkler system actually use? So what we thought we'd do, we'd run a couple of zones to be able to measure a specific amount of time so we can determine exactly how much water is moving through the system.
That's right, Mayor. And then what we can do is reread your meter, and we'll know exactly how many gallons went through.
All right, so the meter, it says 13777,988. So it's 1,377,988.8. So that's where we're starting at. And then as we turn this on, of course, we'll see it spin very quickly.
Correct.
All right, perfect. So let's get started. All right, so we're here in my garage. Thought we'd get a little bit of shade while the sprinkler's running.
Yep.
But at this time, we thought we'd talk a little bit about the different meter types. I understand there are really two classes of meter, we'll call them. We have the analog and, of course, the digital. This is what I actually have when we actually open my lid. And you'll see that it has the meter that's running across, or the reading that's running across, and there's that red gauge that, that Jake actually talked about that spins around as well. So.
And then, Mayor, we also have this, this particular unit too, which you can see has a digital reading. Exactly the same kind of setup, and these are physical meters that we're able to come back and physically read if we had to. Now this device is what Jake called the MXU. This is the device, whether it's this kind of meter or this kind of meter, you can see the wires that hook up into this, and then when the truck drives by to read the meters digitally over the air, it's reading from this device. But this device is connected to this one, and that's why if anything ever happens to our reading, we can always come back to this and verify the reading.
What I wanted to talk about today is the importance of making sure that you program your sprinkler system properly. One thing that I found is that when I actually had gone back and checked the settings, I was actually watering multiple times in one evening over a 3 or 4 day period. And that in turn uses a lot more water than I really need.
It does, Mayor, absolutely. And it's very important that our customers understand just how much water they're using from their irrigation.
It is. And so this is pretty simple to program. You can actually set the specific date and time by doing that. Change the days. So if you have Sunday, you can actually see in there, we're not watering on Sunday. And then you go back to Monday, it waters. And then you can change the specific time settings. So by doing that, it's best to water frequently over 1 day. In other words, just water for short intervals instead of having a long period. So instead of watering for 30 or 40 minutes, it's better to go 8 to 10 minutes per station a couple times around.
And you know, Mayor, one thing that we've heard from licensed irrigation specialists and landscape folks is that people do tend to overwater. So one thing we would challenge all of our customers with is check and see how much time you're watering. Look at your irrigation panel, calculate the number of minutes, because you'll be surprised at how much time you're actually using.
All right, so Brian, we've completed all the watering. Now let's go out and check the meter again to see how much water that we actually use. So Jake, would you help us with that? I want to make sure that we get an accurate reading. Now, according to my numbers on this, I see 1,378,158.6. So 1,378,158 gallons, or 0.6 gallons.
So Jake, how many gallons was that?
That comes out to 170.6 gallons in 10 minutes.
In 10 minutes. So that would be about, what is that, 1,024 gallons per hour?
Yes.
So for Mayor, depending on how your zones are set up and how long you run it, that's over 1,000 gallons per hour that you're using out of your meter.
So it's very easy when you start thinking about how many times a week do you water, how long do you water for in each station. It's very easy to think about that you could easily have a 30 or 40,000 gallon bill easily, depending on the amount that you water. Well, that really completes our water test, so to speak, and I really appreciate it. Jake, thank you so much for being here. We certainly appreciate your help. I know you've been doing this a long time, and you've learned a lot from over the years, just seeing a lot of different things that go on, a lot of different circumstances. So I don't think my use is really any different than anyone else's. No. And so, Brian, thanks so much for being here as well. We certainly hope that you have found this very helpful today and educational as well. You know, it's important. It really made me take a hard look at the way that I water, Brian.
Well, me too, Mayor, and I tell you what a great example today for us to really look at that. And 17 gallons per minute, that'll tell you a lot. Well, Mayor, and I'd like to challenge you and all of our customers to go to the website watermyyard.org and plug in the information on your system, and it will tell you how much you should be watering this time of year.
Well, Brian, thank you very much.
Thank you again,
the
Mayor.
test.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Jake.
Thanks, Jake.
So we do have some good news to share, which is actually, which is also part of the show. We like to share good news as well.
Yep.
And one of the projects that we have going on, which I'm very excited about, is our Kids Kingdom Rebuild project.
Very exciting.
This Kids Kingdom Playground is something that we've waited for a long time. As you're probably aware, some basic history, we found out the original Kids Kingdom actually had arsenic in the wood. And one of the things when we find that out, now we're liable. So we were forced to make a very tough decision and have to tear it down. But the good news is we actually, just through the recent bond election, we were able to fund the Kids Kingdom project, and along with a group of volunteers and of course our from our Parks Board Kids Kingdom Playground group have go out and raised additional money. So the $750,000 playground plus 22,000 square feet. That's a significant increase, over 14,000 square feet before. Yeah. And so we are very excited about this. And the build week is coming up rapidly. So
yes, it
we
is.
are actually out there looking for volunteers. So I gave you a hard hat.
Yay.
To help.
So,
you can put that on.
There we go. Oh, thank you.
Put that on. There, turn around. There we go.
Put it on.
All right. And I'm going to hand you this ruler.
Well, what do I do with this?
You're going to help measure things.
Oh, okay. All right.
And since it's now this is not a Halloween prop, so don't get too excited.
Sure?
This is to put you to work.
No, this is real.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
This is real.
But this is actually to go out and help with the Kids Kingdom Rebuild. So I'm going to put my hard hat on, and let's talk about that a little bit as well. And one of the cool things is we have this is a community build project, which means that we're asking the community to come out and actually help us build it. So we've got some sponsorships that we've gone out and raised money for additional play equipment, which is really exciting. But we also have a build week coming up, and we need volunteers. So if you're interested, and even if you don't know how to use the hammer, we can teach you how to use it. Or if you can't, I can ask you just to hold the screwdriver.
I can do that, Mary.
Or this kind of screwdriver. They're different, but that's okay.
Okay.
Or maybe even some nails.
I can
carry this as well.
I can use the hammer.
I'm a very good plumber's helper. So I could be there to hand you the stuff if there, but we're asking for, regardless of your skill set, to come help us. And the build week is set for November 30th through December 6th. So whether it's swinging a hammer or just serving a sandwich, we're looking for folks in our community to come out and help get involved with this community playground that we need built.
Well, and Mayor, we are currently recruiting those volunteers to help in all phases of the rebuild process. During the build week, we need skilled construction team volunteers as well, who are comfortable using with professional grade power tools, ladder work. You're going to take it away from me now?
I'm just measuring something.
Okay. Well, here we go.
I think it's too big.
My head?
Your head, yes.
Okay. So but we do need some skilled volunteers as well, who are comfortable using professional grade power tools, ladder work, and lifting heavy objects. Yes, Mayor. Thank you very much. No, I'm not going to let you have the hammer. So if construction is not your thing, we need volunteers who can paint, carry, and assist in any way.
Why won't you let me have the hammer?
No. Just no.
Keep me away from those things. I'm probably better serving sandwiches. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, okay, I've seen you serve sandwiches before.
We are, as you mentioned, we're recruiting volunteers, regardless whether it's on-site child care, because that's something that comes up. People say, well, I'd love to help, but I have children. What do I do? We actually are going to be providing on-site child care. You can provide assistance with the food and beverage tent, or just providing general assistance in the check-in tent. I mean, this is a major build project.
It is.
It's going to take over a week to be able to do. And if you'd like to volunteer, you could go to sign up for one of our many shifts available, and we have many shifts available. You can go to rowlett.com/Kids Kingdom to be able to volunteer, you as an individual or even your group. We get a lot of churches that are interested in volunteering. It's just a great way to give back to the community. We have different organizations that are interested as well. So we encourage you, if you're interested, regardless whether you're an individual or a group, please sign up. A lot of companies have signed up too, where they say they want to help. And we've got a representative from the Kids Kingdom Playground Committee will be in touch with you soon after that.
Well, and if you can't volunteer, here's another way you can help. Buy a personalized
Let me show this.
fence picket, like this one the mayor's holding up. These are on sale right now, $50 per picket.
You can see that better. See that?
There you go.
Get,
your name here.
See, it says, and then your name here, across there, huh? Isn't that pretty cool?
That's
and what's really neat about this material, this is actually a recycled material. So it's very, very durable. It's laser etched in there. You can get your name in there. Or if you want to buy one that says, I love my mayor, up to 21 characters, you can do that.
Yeah.
Love Brian, I think that would fit on there. Okay, that would be really great. How about that, huh?
Yeah.
Help me out, come
or
on.
something like Mayor Gattell Forever. See.
That would be nice too, huh? How about City City Manager Forever?
There you go.
Because I don't think I could fit Funderburk in 21.
Yeah, not BFF
Okay.
though, right?
No, not BFF.
All right.
No, you're not my BFF. Okay, that's all
right.
right. Okay, but
just
you can
so
have up to
hurt by
21 characters. Just hold Hammer, okay. But either way, you can go and purchase your picket online at rowlett.com/Kids Kingdom. Now, the one cool thing about this, which is really nice, especially parents and grandparents, which is a really nice gift idea, it's $50 for the picket and gets your name engraved and will basically be memorialized on the Kids Kingdom project itself.
That's right.
We have roughly about 1,500 playground pickets, and we've sold several hundred so far, and so we've got plenty more available to sell. But time is running out. So if you're interested in getting your name engraved on this, it is really well worth it. Especially grandparents, you want to have that legacy. You want to give your kids something that they can always go back. It's really, really cool to be part of that. We've had some folks that have passed away, and they want to memorialize their mother or father or grandparent or something like that. It's a really great way to do that, and it's a great way to create a memory that will last for many, many years. Well,
and also, Mayor, if they don't do it online, they can buy a picket in person at the Rowlett Community Center. That's one other option. Right. But to volunteer, buy a picket, or just see the playground plans, please visit www.rowlett.com/Kids Kingdom.
Perfect. Well, I look forward to it.
I'm looking
I'll
forward
see you out
to it
there.
too. I will be out there, Mayor.
Very good.
You gotta take care of Texas, it's the only one we got. If you're way up in Lubbock or down in Luckenbach, you gotta conserve water, keep the air clean. Take care of Texas, don't you know what I mean, y'all?
Kevin Fowler here. Texas has clean air, rivers, and lakes. Let's get outdoors and enjoy them. Visit takecareoftexas.org, pledge to help keep it that way, and we'll send you a free Texas State Park Guide.
You gotta take care of Texas, it's the only one we got.
Well, next, really, we talk about one of my favorite events during the year, and I know it's a favorite event of many citizens in our city, and that's the electronic recycling and document shredding event. I will tell you, this is something that I've had the privilege of participating in for many, many years. It's a lot of fun, and it's something that's really, really needed and very valuable in the city.
Well, and Mayor, this will be on October 10th this year, so mark it down from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Rowlett High School parking lot.
Well, and keep in mind that this is a really cool event, and we have literally in the past run out of space on the shredding truck. I'm amazed at all the recycling stuff we get. First off, we got these batteries. You know, you don't know what to do with these batteries, whether it's a car battery or these. You can hang on to these. You know, they can be recycled. So if you save those, but a lot of times people put them in a bag or a little box or something like that. They can bring them down to have them recycled. And it's not just batteries. Of course, you know, you can bring your old cell phones in. You don't know what to do with those. In many cases, they're laying around in a drawer somewhere. You can hold those if you want.
Thank you.
And I even got some bigger things here. Let me see if I can get this real quick here. Put this down. Look at this. Oh my goodness, this is heavy.
Oh my gosh, that's heavy, Mayor.
This is, you know what this is, Brian?
That looks like an old computer.
An old computer. It's amazing how far they've come, isn't it? It's hard to believe in some cases that my phone is actually more powerful than this. But you'd be surprised the number of these that are laying around.
So that's what you could use it for, recycle it.
That's about it today with these things. It's like, but seriously, it's amazing that when you see these laying around and you think, how many old monitors do you have? The glass, the CRT monitors, you know, how many of those are like, and they literally bring them in by the truckload. It is unbelievable. I'm like, where did all this stuff come from? And they bring them back to the recycling event. And we have the big screen televisions. We have tube televisions. Have you picked up on those tube TVs in a while?
Back in the old days, I know.
You know, we had one that we got rid of one year, Brian, that I remember my neighbor and I had to load it in the car, and it was so heavy we could barely get it into the vehicle. Unfortunately, I had some real heavy football kind of guys there were able to pick it right back up. And then the new one, my neighbor called and said, do you need some help? I said, nope, picked it up with one hand and put it in the same spot. Well, you don't know what to do with that stuff, and our trash folks won't take that. So to be able to have an event like this that you're able to bring these products to is really, really important.
Well, we would like to ask the public to help keep it out of the landfill. Turn in any electronic equipment that has reached the end of its life, whether it's working or even non-working condition. They are accepting TVs, computers, laptops, scanners, fax machines, cell phones, DVD players, batteries of any type, printers, or any other consumer
Batteries.
electronics. Small household appliances will also be accepted, such as microwaves, blenders, shavers, almost anything that runs on electricity.
And that's what I was going to say. It's amazing the amount of stuff that people bring in, but it's really important. And of course, you know, we can't forget the recycling part of it as well for the shredding or the document shredding, because in many cases people are really concerned about what do we do with this stuff? I've got bank statements and stuff, and I don't want to. You used to be able to just tear it in half and throw it in the garbage can. Well, not anymore. People actually go through that. So we've invested in shredders. But I'll tell you a personal story. I'm sitting there at home. I've got this box I throw my shredding in, and I'm running it through one paper at a time. I'm like, okay, this is going to take all day. And then I heard about our document shredding coming up and said, I cannot wait. So I've literally been just throwing in a box. I have a big old box of stuff that I'm going to bring down there, and they bring it in these huge commercial machines. They dump it in the garbage can. It literally shreds it into little tiny pieces, and you're done with it at that point. So could not be more excited. And if you're going to have some difficulty helping to unload, we've got our explorers there, our Rowlett explorers, to help us from our part of our community emergency response team. Our younger guys will be there to help you unload the products from your car and also direct traffic. And of course, you know, the whole idea on the shredding side, it's a great way to help get rid of those documents. Now we do limit the boxes though. We limit up to 3 boxes or 4, you know, or you can bring up to 4, actually I think it's this year, 4 boxes, and then any more than that is going to be $3 each. So.
Yeah. And also, Mayor, the Lions Club will even be there to collect old eyeglasses. So you can also bring theirs. And for some more information, please contact Martha Brown at Keep Rowlett Beautiful, wonderful organization, 972-463-3929, or mbrown at keeprowlettbeautiful.org.
And most importantly, get there early. You know, we typically run out very quickly, so make sure you're there by 9. People line up and we're ready to go. But look forward to a really, really great day. So look forward to being there. Hope to see you there.
This is Brian Thunderberg, and I am the Rowlett City Manager. You know, one of the things that everybody is talking about this summer is water. We've had a lot of customers contact us about their water bill. So I want to take a few minutes to go through my personal story about how I looked at my bill and determined how much water I was using and why my bill went up so much. I have my own personal bill with me today. One of the things on our bill that shows up is there's a 13-month graph chart. So when I got my bill, $245, one of the things that I noticed was last August I used about 13,000 gallons, and this August I used more like about 32,000 gallons. So I was trying to figure out what was it that made my bill increase from 13,000 gallons to 32,000 gallons. Last year, at 13,000 gallons, that would have included 2 outside waterings that I would have been able to do, plus a few times that we used our soaker hoses to protect our foundation. Now that the Stage 3 water restrictions have been eliminated back in May 1st, we have allowed people to water twice a week. That's what the new rules say. So if I can water twice a week, that's 4 times in 2 weeks. Last year you can water once every 2 weeks. Now I can water 4 times in 2 weeks. So just looking at it from a logic perspective, you know you're going to use more water. And certainly I know that I was going to use more water. But the question I really wanted to know was, how much water does my irrigation system use? We determined based on the city's pressure, water pressure, typically about 10, maybe up to 12 gallons per minute comes out of our water, our irrigation system. So I went back home. I looked at my irrigation panel, my timer, and I have 8 zones, and I added up the minutes that every zone was set up for. And what I found out for myself at least, that was 220 minutes. That's 3.7 hours. So every time I watered was 3.7 hours, 220 minutes, and using a rough rule of thumb of about 10 gallons per minute, you can see how very quickly we're up there around 200, 2,200, maybe a little bit more than that, gallons every single time I water. We went on watermyyard.org. This is the website on the North Texas Municipal Water District's website. This is a group, the Texas A&M has put this study together. And what it does, it tells you, based on your area that you live in, it tells you about how much time you should actually be watering your yard. If you have a high bill, you need to look at how much time you're using with your irrigation system if you have one. If you don't have one and you're using soaker hoses or things like that, put them on a timer. Most licensed irrigation specialists and landscape artists tell us that most people overwater. One thing that we want to encourage our customers to do is check for leaks. We have this little handy dandy tool that tells us how much water a leak can actually cause you. Even a leak as small as 1/8 of an inch could cost you as much as 100,000 gallons a month. For more water tips, you can check us out on our webpage at the address below. Mayor, did you know that the City of Rowlett has a new finance director?
No, I did not know that.
We are proud, very proud, to announce the hiring of our new finance director, Kim Galvin.
Wow, that's exciting. I know we've had that position open for a while.
We have, and Kim has a master's degree in public administration from the University of Texas at Arlington, 2 Bachelor of Arts degrees in accounting and business administration from North Carolina State University. She's a certified government finance officer and an active member of the Government Finance Officers Association of Texas, as well as a member of the Government Treasurers Organization of Texas as well. She was a former finance director for the City of Cleburne, Texas from 2010 to 2014, and she has served in the capacity of budget and purchasing manager, purchasing coordinator between 2004 and 2014, prior to being the finance director. She has most recently served as the interim finance director for the town of Prosper. So Kim will be a great addition to our executive team. I think the City of Rowlett is going to get a lot out of her. She's very smart, and she will make great progress with our finances.
Well, I'm very, very happy to have her on board. Of course, welcome. Well, one of my favorite departments, Brian, is our public library, and I know we've always got a lot going on there, especially from the standpoint of what's the new library going to look like.
Mm-hmm. That's right, and the Rowlett Public Library needs your help in creating a vision for the future library space. Back in July, Council appointed a library visioning task force charged with creating a framework for what our next new library will look like. Members of the task force include key library stakeholders from the library board, friends of the library, as well as city representatives, council member, the city manager, and library staff.
And recently the task force finalized the customer surveys that will be running on the website and the entire month of October.
That's right, Mayor, and the survey, which will be launched October 1st via SurveyMonkey, is now available on the library's webpage at www.rowlett.com/library.
And it's important, you know, we want your input, they want your input on what the future of the library space looks like. And libraries of today are going to be much different than libraries of tomorrow. You know, if you look at the way it was in the past and all that, it's changed a lot. And I would have never thought in a million years that I could hold an entire novel on this device, you know, and you're able to go out and read with something like this. You normally buy the book and you carry that big book around with you everywhere. Well, now I can have multiple books on these things. So ebooks are an important part. And at the end of the day, this can take I could put 50 books on something like this versus
500
carrying the same 50 books around in my car. So as we think about space requirements, it's really something that's going to change. And so it's important that we want your input on what the future library space is going to look like.
So here's Laura from the library with the October calendar events at the Rowlett Public Library.
Hi, I'm Laura Turner from the Rowlett Public Library, located at 5702 Rowlett Road. October brings changes in the weather. Blustery days are great days to curl up and read a good book. Or for a change, take out your tablet and read a magazine. Books and magazines can be borrowed for free from your public library. Contact the library at 972-412-6161 for information about how to obtain your free library card. The library has programs for families to enjoy together. Family Saturday movie and popcorn on October 3rd will be Ghostbusters rated PG and will be shown at the Rowlett Community Center at 2 p.m. Check the library's calendar or website for more information. Families are invited to Pajama Story Time. The program is suitable for young children and families. Wear your jammies and bring your favorite binky to curl up and listen to a wonderful sleepy time story on Tuesday evenings at 7 p.m. The library is dedicated to promoting early literacy, and our story times are excellent for building word recognition and promoting a love of reading. Programs are at 10 a.m. and repeated at 10:30 a.m. 3 days a week and are designed for babies on Tuesdays, toddlers on Wednesdays, and preschoolers on Thursdays. Library staff can introduce your baby to books and vital pre-reading skills with interactive story times on Tuesday mornings at 10 a.m. or 10:30 a.m. in October. The Young and the Restless is ideal for babies ages 0 to 2. Library staff can teach toddlers letter recognition with interesting and colorful tales, some set to music, on Wednesday mornings at 10 a.m. or 10:30 a.m. in October with Giggle Wiggle story times. Toddlers will have fun while developing a love of learning. Continue your preschoolers' introduction to the alphabet and promote early word recognition with their own story times with Shake, Rattle, and Read on Thursday mornings at 10 a.m. or 10:30 a.m. For grade school children, Rowlett Public Library has a primetime book club on Thursdays at 4 p.m. in October in the meeting room. Introduce young readers to a new series and encourage new genres. This month's topic is Scary Stories. Rowlett Public Library has programs for teens every Wednesday. Whatever on Wednesdays or WOW programs meet in the young adult section of the library at 4 and include programs on a makerspace, tabletop games, book and movie and TV discussions, all free for teens ages 13 to 18. Find out about financial literacy on Saturday, October 17th at 2 p.m. at the Rowlett Community Center. Learn how money works and how to manage your paycheck for maximum effect. Professionals from Wells Fargo will acquaint you with the skills and knowledge that will assist you in making informed and effective decisions with all of your financial resources. Need more information? Check out our website or call the library at 972-412-6161. Come and visit the library in October.
Hello, I'm Brian Beckner, Fire Marshal for the City of Rowlett. Fire Prevention Week is October 4th through the 10th, and Rowlett Fire Rescuers join forces with the National Fire Protection Association to remind local residents to hear the beep where you sleep. Did you know that roughly half the home fire deaths result from fires reported between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. when most people are asleep? Smoke alarms save lives. If there is a fire in your home, smoke spreads fast and you need a smoke alarm to give you time to get out. In fact, having a working smoke alarm cuts the chances of dying in a reported fire in half. Smoke alarms are the key part of a home fire escape plan. When there's a fire, smoke spreads fast. Working smoke alarms give you an early warning so you can get out quickly. Safety tips. Install smoke alarms inside and outside each bedroom and sleeping area. Install alarms on every level of your home. Install alarms in the basement. Large homes may need extra smoke alarms. It is best to use interconnecting smoke alarms. When one smoke alarm sounds, they all will sound. Test all smoke alarms at least once a month. Press the test button to be sure that the alarm is working. Smoke alarms should be on the ceiling or high on a wall. Keep smoke alarms away from the kitchen to reduce false alarms. Roughly 3 out of 5 fire deaths happen in homes with no smoke alarms or the alarms are not working. By the way, on October 31st, be sure to come down to Fire Station number 1 at 3901 Main Street. We will have free candy and fire prevention materials for each and every vehicle that drives through the fire station. For additional information, please call my office at 972-463-3940 or send me an email at bbeckner@rowlett.com. Again, I'm Brian Beckner, Fire Marshal for the City of Rowlett. Have a great month. Thank you for your time.
Halloween is a festive time of year with plenty of fun activities for the kids. Make sure trick-or-treating is safe for them with a few easy safety tips. When choosing a costume, stay away from fabric that is long and trailing or loose and flowing. If your child wears a mask, make sure the eye holes are large enough so he or she can see out. Provide flashlights to carry for lighting or glow sticks as part of their costume. Tell children to stay away from open flames. Be sure they know how to stop, drop, and roll if their clothing catches on fire. If your children go to Halloween parties, have them look for ways out of the home and plan how they would escape if there's an emergency. You can find out more about Halloween safety and other safety information on the NFPA website. Just go to nfpa.org/safety tips.
Want to keep up with all things Rowlett Parks and Recreation? If so, please like us on Facebook at City of Rowlett Parks and Recreation and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Rowlett Parks and Rec.
Insanity is a total body conditioning class in just 50 minutes. You will be boosting your metabolism through performing blocks of plyometric exercises as well as strengthening every muscle group in the core and balance block. A class for all fitness levels because you choose your intensity level. Insanity will start on October 5th and occur on Monday nights from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Lunch Around Town is a fabulous opportunity for seniors to meet new people and socialize with friends. This month's lunch will be on Tuesday, October 27th at Applebee's starting at 11:30 a.m. Please be sure to pre-register so we can let the restaurant know how many people to expect.
Pound is a 45-minute fitness class that fuses strength training, Pilates, and cardio moves with drumming. The next class session starts on Tuesday, October 6th, and classes are from 9:30 a.m. to 10:15 a.m., and the cost for this session is $20. A fitness class with a little bit of ballet inspiration, including strengthening, cardio, light stretching, and posture exercises, has made its way to the Rowlett Community Center. Fitness Ballet Fusion is a great way to start losing weight and build strength. The next session starts on Friday, October 2nd, and goes until October 30th. Classes are on Friday nights from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. and the cost for this session is $25.
Want to learn how to knit? Then come check out the Beginner's Knitting class where you will learn the basic styles of knitting and important techniques to make knitting more fun. No materials are needed for this class and it occurs on Wednesdays from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Want to know the best part? It's free. The AARP Driver Safety Program is the nation's first and largest refresher course for drivers ages 50 and older that have helped millions of drivers remain safe on today's roads. AARP has offered the course in the classroom for 25 years and now offers the same course online. It is designed to help you tune up your driving skills and update your knowledge of the rules on the road. Learn about the normal age-related physical changes and how to adjust your driving to allow for these changes. Reduce your traffic violations, crashes, and chances for injuries. Drive more safely. Get an insurance discount. Pre-registration is required. To register, call the Rowlett Community Center at 972-412-6170. You will register with the Community Center and fees are $20 for a non-AARP member and $15 for AARP members. Please bring your membership card to the class and show your AARP instructor proof of your membership.
Little Ballers Basketball is a 4-week instructional program for kids ages 3 to 5 years old that teaches them the basics of basketball, such as ball handling, dribbling, and shooting. This course starts on October 22nd and goes until November 12th, with classes occurring each Thursday night from 6 p.m. to 6:45 p.m. The cost for this class is $35.
Sail exercise class is designed for people 60 years and older to improve strength, balance, and fitness. All exercises are done to music and designed for all to have fun. So join us on Tuesdays at 10:30 for this free program. Another exercise program is Senior Stretch, which is a marvelous motivating movement class that focuses on stretching and strengthening the major muscle groups of the joints of the body. Emphasis is on breathing, balance, and flexibility. The gentle workout includes a thorough warm-up, a cool-down, relaxation period using stretching bands, standing, and chair or mat exercises. This class meets on Mondays at 9:30 and is $10 per month for seniors with a membership.
A spectacular teen night out is almost here. Participants ages 10 to 15 years old will get together Saturday, October 17th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. with a haunted night of ghoulish costumes and lots of fright for just $10 a person. Parents, let our staff entertain your teenager while you enjoy a nice evening out. Come spend the evening of terror with your scariest friend while eating the scariest foods and dance to the monster sound.
Missed out on all those? Senior Fitness Fun is a senior program that incorporates a warm-up, 20 minutes of low-impact aerobics, hand-eye coordination, and flexibility training exercises. All exercises are guaranteed to loosen up those stiff joints, get that heart pumping, and even cause you to sweat a little bit. This free program is offered on Thursday mornings at 9:30.
Skyhawk Sports will be offering up the opportunity for children ages 7 to 9 to strengthen their soccer skills. Starting on Tuesday, October 6th, kids will learn the fundamentals of the world's most popular sport. This progression-oriented curriculum will allow your young athlete to gain technical skills and knowledge required to take the next step. This course will be held on Tuesdays from October 6th to October 27th from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. and costs $49.
The rumors you have heard are true that the City of Rowlett Parks and Recreation Department cannot wait to start the Rowlett Youth Baseball League in spring of 2016. Boys and girls ages 4 to 16 can register beginning October 15th. Registration must be done in person at the Rowlett Community Center, located at 5300 Main Street.
Skyhawk Soccer Skills and Agility. Your young athlete ages 9 to 14 years old will gain the technical skills and sports knowledge required for the next step into soccer. This intermediate class focuses on dribbling, passing, shooting, and ball control. Players will gain improved skills through drills, exercises, and games. This class runs from October 6th through the 27th from 7:15 to 8:15 p.m. and costs $49.
The City of Rowlett Parks have pavilions available for rent any day of the week. Reservations are available during hours from dawn to dusk. Reservations may be made up to 9 months in advance. It can be reserved for the full day, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., or for a half day, 8 a.m. to 2 or 3 to 9. Alcohol is prohibited in any city park or pavilion. To make a reservation or find out more information on what pavilion is closest to you, please call the Rowlett Community Center at 972-412-6170.
For more information about any of our programs or services, please call the Rowlett Community Center at 972-412-6170 or visit us on the web at rowlettex.gov/parksandrec. From the Rowlett Parks and Recreation Department, we hope you and your family has a wonderful year in 2015.
Howdy, this is Chris Paul, Public Information Officer of the Rowlett Community Emergency Response Team, or CERT. But I also wear another hat, and that is the Emergency Coordinator of the Rowlett Amateur Radio Emergency Service, or Rowlett ARES. We are a newly formed group organized with a charter from the American Radio Relay League and the Rowlett Citizens Corps Council. Whew, what does all that mean? Well, we're a group of volunteer ham radio licensees who contribute our time, energy, and expertise to help make Rowlett a better prepared and more resilient community in the face of natural or man-made disasters. And here's some great news. We're looking for new members. The only requirement to join is having an amateur radio license. The Amateur Radio Emergency Service, or ARES, consists of licensed amateurs who have voluntarily registered their qualifications and equipment with their local ARES leadership for communications duty in the public sector when disaster strikes. In addition, many ARES members are Skywarn certified storm spotters to assist the National Weather Service during severe weather situations. Amateur radio operators set up and operate organized communication networks locally for governmental and emergency officials, as well as non-commercial communication for private citizens affected by the disaster. Amateur radio operators are most likely to be active after disasters that damage regular lines of communication due to power outages and destruction of telephone, cellular, and other infrastructure-dependent systems. We perform preparedness exercises on a regular basis to maintain our readiness and refine our emergency communications expertise. Many national organizations have formal agreements with the Amateur Radio Emergency Service, including FEMA, American Red Cross, the Salvation Army, the National Traffic System, and the National Weather Service. We hope this short video will be helpful in identifying the critical nature of emergency communications. And STEM and science teachers, you may find this video a great topic for your classes as well.
Communication was gone. Cell phones died, nothing worked.
Without the ham radios, we were not able to communicate with our shelters because the phone lines are down. We weren't able to communicate with our other resources like FEMA and MEMA and the Office of Emergency Management.
With no communication whatsoever, with all the systems down, it was very important to Dr. O'Brien.
Communications are extremely fragile, and that tends to be our biggest issue.
As soon as the wind died down just a little, I was up stringing antennas up on the roof. Immediately began to pass emergency traffic, physicians, nurses, any state, bring your license. We need medical supplies, additional vaccines, technicians.
I was handling HF traffic, emergency traffic, and a lot of it. There were requests for rescue. There were still people trapped in dormitories at some of the universities in New Orleans. I handled a lot of emergency traffic there. Tough, massive. Yeah, let's face it, this is the greatest natural disaster we've had in the United States. It's really been an experience for me, and I'm glad to help.
I wound up setting up in a Walmart parking lot. I was receiving traffic over the HF net, a lot of search and rescue. People trapped in attics, people trapped on roofs. There was a woman in labor with serious complications, and she was not going to make it if she didn't get out. They couldn't get a helicopter into that hospital. The helicopter got into Tulane Hospital, and then they had a boat en route to pick her up. And we had her ready to go, and getting in the boat, she got out safely and got into the chopper. That was a real heartwarming experience.
Because I am from New Orleans, this region is a very deep and super important part of who I am. I had to do something. This is my first emergency as a ham radio operator. We put up an antenna at the Red Cross headquarters in Brookhaven, set them up with a radio base, moved down to Gulfport, did some work there, slept in a school. It's better than sitting home and watching it on TV. It's very difficult for me because I'm from New Orleans. I went ahead and got my ticket after 9/11 because I wanted to be of some use. I love the idea of talking on the radio to people on the other side of the planet who you've never seen. And so I did it so that I would be of use. And it's paid off. It's really paid off.
It was such a relief to myself and Dr. Muller and Dr. Bryan to have Mike and all those people out there that help to communicate with him. It's definitely a definite warm, heartfelt thank you from me and from our staff.
Without the ham operators, we really don't have a way to communicate. And I'd like to say to the ham operators that helped us with this hurricane that they have been a wonderful asset. They've always had a smile on their face, they work really long, hard hours, and they were there to support us in every way that they could. So I say a heartfelt thank you from the shelter members, from the staff, and also from the Red Cross.
Cell phones, landline telephones, internet, email. Outside of that, what is there? I mean, if it's all down, it's down, and you know, if you can't get at the airwaves via the ham operators, then there's no communication. Thanks, guys.
Myself personally and the Red Cross truly, truly, truly offers their complete and wholehearted thanks. And I think the American people offer their thanks in that the people in this area are really appreciative of what their efforts are, because from what I understand, you're all doing this as full volunteers, no recompense, you're paying your own way, and that goes really above and beyond anything that I have known before. So a very wonderful, heartfelt thanks, and keep coming back. And if there's anything that we can do for you guys, let us know.
Well, Chris, that sounds great, and I want to help, but I don't have an amateur radio license. Guess what? We can help with that as well. Please send your contact information to wi5y@arrl.net. Whiskey India 5 Yankee is my personal call sign, and we'll keep you informed of our upcoming licensing classes and forward more info to help you get on the air. Any licensed hams that would like to get involved with the Rowlett Aries, please send your contact info and call sign to wi5y@arrl.net. This is Chris Paul, Emergency Coordinator for the Rowlett Amateur Radio Emergency Service. And until next time, make a plan, get prepared, get involved, and get on the air.